we were Catholics. And then I suddenly realized I was the only person going to Mass. And everybody else had, and you decided there wasn't really God at all.
No.
What?
Never. When I decided there's no God. I decided that religions were just in it for money, power and corruption. But I never not believed. I never didn't believe, that's for sure. I believed from the age of 17 onwards. And I was brought up going to church every Sunday, so I don't think you have to go through a religion to believe in God. You don't have to show your love for God by going through a religion. I think you can talk to God on your own without any problem at all. So that's the way I see it. Well, my name is Tom Ford, and I was born in Johannesburg, and I worked as a plastic surgeon in Sandton Mediclinic for 35 years. In March of 2009, I developed a rectal cancer, and it was a massive thing. It was 8 centimeters circumferential around my rectum. What they do in treatment first is they put a port into your chest so they can put the chemicals into your heart, because if they don't put it in your heart, it'll burn away all the tissue. So this medicine goes directly into your heart, and I started with Folfox chemotherapy, which is the standard procedure for rectal cancer. And at the same time, they give you radiation, which is a beam of radiation that goes around you and burns your pelvic area trying to localize the rectal cancer. And then in May the 12th of 2009, they went and unzipped me from top to bottom, and they took out my sigmoid, my rectum, and part of my anal canal, and they rejoined them together again, and with an anastomotic gun put the stuff together again. So I didn't have a bag on the outside. I had what's called an anterior section. And then, of course, I thought I was fine and carried on merrily away. In in the beginning of January of 2010, what happened was that a friend of ours said to us, my wife and I, that she knew of a person who was a saint who would be coming to Johannesburg, and we should go to Darshan.
So the first time we actually got introduced was when Tom was first sick. So we heard he had cancer, and obviously it throws your head completely. It's like you think it's a death sentence. You believe the person's going to be gone in 6 months. You really don't know how you're going to cope. Our youngest had just gone to university, so it was very difficult to try and deal with this and understand it. And I have a friend who isn't particularly spiritual, but she gave me the name of a holistic counselor. So I went, and then you went about a week or two later. We went separately. I think when she realized we were trying to look for more than an answer, we were trying to get on a spiritual kind of path, she then said, have you read Autobiography of a Yogi? So we're like, no. So she said, no, I think you must read it. So we read it. And then she started talking about, there's this young saint from Mauritius, and he comes out every year, and I really think you should meet him because, he can heal you if you get to talk to him, and it's just an amazing thing to go and see. And so she said, if he comes, you must go. So 2010, so we first heard Tom was sick in 2009, and this was January 2010, I think, or February 2010, there was the first darshan we ever went to. But at that point, we thought Tom was fine. We'd been told, they've cut it out, the lymph nodes are clear, he's fine. In October 2010, I went to have a checkup CAT scan, and they found 3 tumors in my liver and 3 in my right lung. And so then I started on I had already had 1 set of chemotherapy and 1 set of radiation therapy. And then they'd done an anterior section,
and cut out the cancer, and I seemed to be all fine. But in October 2010, they discovered these spreads. And if you spread from a tumor that is as big as your fist, then it's a bit of a death sentence. And so then I had worry. I mean, I had another set of chemo, did nothing. And then the tumors in the liver and the lung weren't changing. Nothing was helping them. But it was when I was now starting on this journey, and went to Darshan, that's when I first went up to him, and I took him by his clothing, and then I said to Guruji, I've got cancer, you've got to help me. And so he said, oh, okay, what's that stuff? And lettuce. You take some lettuce every day, put it in boiling water, and then you have it with your lunch. So from then on, I was taking lettuce leaves every day, plus 27 other things that you can pick up from other medical colleagues about what you should be taking and what you should be doing and whatever. But actually, once it's spread out, especially into your lungs, then it's usually the end of you. 6 weeks later, it was July, 8 weeks later maybe, then they suddenly found on the CAT scan that I had 14 tumors in my left lung, which had nothing before. And so that was really the end of it. And Larry Rampini said to me, he was a surgeon, he said to me, look, if I go and cherry pick those out, it might give you a couple more months, but that's all. And so he cut out all the pieces out of my left lung, and the next morning I had a stroke, and my arm was stuck in behind me like this, a grey cloud over my head. And I knew it was happening because being a medical doctor, you've studied these things, you know what's going on, Anyway, after the liver, then I started on some really horrible chemo. It was brand new, and it's called panitumumab, and they had to bring it out from America. I was then really very sick. All my hair fell out. As I said the other night, I got all the pimples, again, which I had great fun squeezing all over the place. But my fingernails and my toenails were all just pouring pus. They were absolutely rotten. 2021, I started passing blood in my urine. And when you've had radiation, the radiation burns you so badly that in fact my bathing trunk area all peeled off like a sunburn after the radiation. So that radiation, of course, doesn't stop just on your rectum, it goes through everything. So 2021, I went to have a cystoscope where they look into your bladder, found out bladder cancer caused by the radiation. When I spoke to Paramahamsa about it, he said he'll speak to Guruji. And Guruji said to me to start eating coconut flake in boiling water every day. So I've been eating and still am eating coconut flakes. But the 9th time, I had 10 at the most at the one sitting. 10 tumors in my bladder at the once. And so the 9th one I had on the 8th of December 2023, and this is now, 15 years now since the whole thing started. And on the 8th of December, Warren took a couple of biopsies. My surgeon took a couple of biopsies, and for the first time from the other 8, the histology, they look at it under the microscope, they could find no tumor in my bladder. And so that was the coconut flake story. I still have to have another year's chemotherapy where they put the chemotherapeutic agent into your bladder. and I've got to do one a month for the rest of this year. And that's the way we sit at the moment. He said, take the coconut flakes, but do what your doctor tells you. He spoke to us, just sat down and chatted to us for a while. Then he said, come for dinner. And so we did. And so we had lots of fun, just chatting and whatever. And then he actually put his hands on my abdomen and just said, you'll be fine. And so I have always thought I will be fine. And I still think so.
When you are in a Catholic religion or another religion, God isn't sort of contactable, reachable. There is this distance thing. So once Guruji comes in your life, you feel like you are protected, that there is someone looking out for you. And even if things don't go right, you have a faith that it will be for your best, whatever happens. So it just makes me feel much more at peace with things that happen in my life than I would have been before. I would have felt more scared or hectic. And I'd say at the beginning, it was like that for us. It was, you know, you suddenly get a diagnosis like this and you don't know. But now, once you have him in your life, you feel like there is somebody looking out for you, that you're protected in a way that you wouldn't be otherwise.
The one doctor who took out my right and my left lung, he never asked, phoned me or asked me how I was going. But what he did do, he worked at Morningside as well as at Olivedale. And so he went to Morningside. He knew my ex-anaesthetist when I was operating. My anaesthetist was a good friend of mine. He used to go and ask Rex, how is he? He never spoke to me at all, never asked me. But he asked me, and Rex said, no, he's absolutely fine. Don't worry, he's all fine. Back at golf and full action. So even he was too scared to find out, because they knew that theoretically I should have been dead by then. And there's nothing he can do about it. So he doesn't want to lose somebody he knows or considers to be a colleague or anything like that. Having got over all the rectal cancer and now had the bladder cancer, the surgeon told me to get another CAT scan just to see that there was nothing else going on besides the bladder. He sent me an email 10 years down the line to say he cannot believe that I'm the only one that has ever survived the illness that I had. And he said it was because I persevered so strongly with his chemotherapy. But in fact, he had forgotten that after 7 doses, I had actually become so rotten, fingers and toenails and scalp, and I was so full of pimples and pus everywhere that I sent it to him on email, and he said, oh no, we're going to stop then. So I had 7 doses, in fact, of the 12 I was meant to have. And so I didn't persevere further than that, and so he obviously couldn't remember actually what happened, but he was so surprised. And because he wasn't all the other surgeons, you become mates with them, they're your colleagues, you know what they're talking about, they know what you're talking about. So I sort of thought about it for 3 days, and I sent him an email to say, thank you very much for your email. And that was all. During that time, we went to Mauritius, and we went to meet Guruji at the temple. And he said to me, get better now. And I said, I'm trying my best. And he said, don't worry, I'll do the rest. So really that means a lot to me. And they called me the miracle man, but actually Guruji is the miracle man, as we all know.